to slander.
Well, first of all, I'd love to. Please give me an example. You've got to give an example.
That ain't never happened.
No.
We don't roll like that.
No.
We have never rolled like that.
There has never been a slanderous comment on this show in 2.5 years.
And if you think slanderous is saying something really bad about Rosie O'Donnell, well then, you know.
No, slander is when you say something bad about somebody that's a lie. It has to be a proven lie coming out of our mouth.
I said she was a nice person one time.
You said who was a nice person?
Rosie O'Donnell. I said she was a nice person.
Yeah, but it also has to cause financial harm.
Well, it hurt her reputation as a really bad person.
But it has to cause her financial harm.
All right.
So if you say something bad about somebody, hurts them financially, and it was a lie, if you could prove all those things, that's slander.
Yeah, that don't happen here.
So for her to say slander, you know what? It actually reflects poorly on the Cruz campaign to attack conservative radio shows.
You done lost your mind.
It reflects poorly on the entire Cruz campaign. And by the way, she's not a Cruz. She's not just a Cruz supporter. She's a Cruz campaigner. She actually campaigns for the Cruz campaign. She's a volunteer. She may actually be paid. What's it say in her?
Whoa, Durham, North Carolina, co-leader at Ted Cruz.
Oh, she's a co-leader. She's
Ted Cruz presidential campaign, royal child of the King of Kings.
What?
At the minister of the world of God.
So she's a paid employee of the Cruz campaign, and she's going around hurting the conservative cause by putting negative reviews up on a conservative blog. She should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah. What?
You don't put any individual, I don't care who it is, you do not put an individual above the cause of conservatism. How is that conservative? And she did. She would rather Cruz win at the expense of the furtherance of conservatism.
Okay, so she posted an article from theyoungcons.com. It says top radio host favorite, their favorite number one candidate for 2016. They show Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, and Glenn Beck. And she writes, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Mark Levin, encouraging listeners to support Ted Cruz. I know Mark Levin's down that road. I know Glenn Beck's down that road.
Glenn Beck is all the way down that road. He's staked his entire career. His career is staked
hinged on this.
Yes.
Did you hear that he was after the debate, or after
which one? There's been like 9 debates.
Sorry, after the primary in Nevada. After the primary in Nevada, Glenn Beck was giving a talk in an auditorium about Ted Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
He's pumping him up. It looked like a group of maybe about 100 or so. It was a small little group in an auditorium. And then all of a sudden, while he was talking, the crowd just started cheering and rumbling and getting really loud. And one reporter said it was like a rock concert. Yeah. Trump walked in the side door.
Oh, boy.
They went nuts!
And these were people to see Cruz?
Yeah, they went nuts. Well, they were there listening to Beck.
Okay.
I don't know if they were there to see Cruz, but they went nuts and started mauling Trump, and then Glenn Beck just stormed off.
Right.
Anyways.
And anyway. So, yeah, don't do that. Listen, if you're a progressive, communist, progressive, whatever, socialist, and you want to give us a negative review, I'm expecting it. But for somebody to be a Cruz supporter, which I know what that means to be a Cruz supporter, that means you would rather somebody coming along that's a real conservative, Tea Party type person that's that loves the fact that he's all about the Constitution. I get all that, and I support Cruz because of that. But to sit there and give us a negative review on that, you obviously aren't listening enough to our show to know that we're going to outlast Cruz. We will still be doing this when Cruz will be long ago a footnote.
Right. And I'm looking at some of the articles she's posted on her Facebook page. Yeah, we talk about all these articles, and we usually post the same thing too.
Yeah.
You are in the same camp that we're in.
Yeah.
We're just not married. We do not put our personality and our emotions into
a person.
To an individual single person. You can't sell yourself like
all
that.
About conservatism. And if you if you are a true conservative, you're going to vote for Mitt Romney when he's the nominee against the communist Barack Obama. And yet, a lot of you people that call yourselves a conservative stay home. I got into a knockdown drag out on Twitter this week because a guy said, I absolutely, positively, under no circumstance will vote for Trump. Wow. If he's the nominee, he said he'll write in Cruz. I said, you're handing the entire country over to possibly Bernie Sanders, who's a socialist. You cannot say you're a conservative if you're willing to do that.
No, not at all.
But it's about principles. I'm voting for the one that is about my principles. Which
but
is
that
Cruz.
person ain't gonna win.
That person lost.
Right.
So
and they lost.
They lost to, it could be Trump or whoever.
Right.
Or Rubio if they do a convention and steal it from the people. Maybe.
That would be.
I told my dad this. My dad said, "You know what? I think they're holding out for to get Rubio in through the convention." And I was like, "Whoa! I don't know what I'll do if
that house of house of bricks will fall." Sorry, cards. They're saying that show House of Cards was pretty much like for exposes Obama. I didn't know that.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Maybe I should have.
There
were a lot of conservatives that were all about the show 24 with Kiefer.
Yeah, Kiefer.
And I think I watched one episode.
I didn't get into it, and then when he got into that drunk and spat in that hotel and knocked over that Christmas tree, and it was all drunk and sloppy, and somebody got it on a phone cam.
On a potato?
Yeah, on a potato cam back in the day. I was like, oh, man.
It was a flip phone with 30-second video capability.
Right, and I was like, oh, thank goodness I didn't watch 24.
So anyway. Yeah, so moving on.
Okay, so Cruz, just a little bit more, and we'll wrap this thing up on Cruz. This week, in the lobby of a Hampton Inn on Saturday, Marco Rubio, we don't know if Marco Rubio knew that this man was Cruz's dad, or they didn't know.
Oh, right. I remember
Rubio walked up to a gentleman that was sitting there and looked like he was reading the Bible. And Rubio made the comment, hey, you got a good book there. All the answers are in there, especially in that one.
That's what he actually said.
In the video, somebody got it on a potato cam, and you can hear him, and that's what he said. However, Cruz's, not one of, the director of communications.
It was the big wig.
Huge.
Really big wig.
He came out and he tweeted and posted it and said, "Hey, look what Rubio said." He said the answers are not in there.
You know, when I was in calculus, and my dad actually taught me this, when you would do word problems, at the end of the problem, before you don't just write down the number and then submit it and say, "Okay, that's my answer." When you're done with the word problem in a calculus problem, you have to take a step back and say, all right, does that answer look realistic? Like, for instance, let's say a train traveling from blah, blah, blah goes and meets another train. What's the difference in speed or whatever? And you come up with 10 million miles an hour.
Okay, let's take a step back. I did all the numbers right.
Right.
I'm right.
I did it right. I thought I did it right.
Right.
Take a step back. Does 1 million miles an hour sound realistic?
Not on planet Earth.
Okay.
Okay.
That being said, maybe I got a decimal place wrong by about 6 places, right?
Right.
Now, this guy should have taken a step back and say, whoa. Is that something Rubio something like that would come out of Rubio's mouth? You got to ask that question.
Right. And I know Cruz has been pushing hard for the evangelical vote. And this may have been one of those feathers in their hat they thought they could.
Oh, talk about a huge blunder. You got to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, wait. If I thought that that's what he said, I would absolutely have to get some sort of a triple verification, because that's a campaign ender. And
I you know what, folks, I'm going to admit it. And I've admitted it before. I love when Matt Drudge trolls me. I love it. I love it.
Did he troll you again?
The titles, the article. No, but like this, This would have been a troll for me. I'd be like, what? Oh, I got to get that back out again. But my brain would instantly start thinking, just like the elevator, when it starts to drop through the shaft, there's automatic brakes, so you'll never fall.
Right.
I have an automatic braking system.
Oh, God installed that in your brain.
That'll help slow down
the descent.
Right.
Into the abyss.
The abyss. To the black hole of nothingness.
Yes.
I would have stopped myself for a minute.
I would have instantly been like, oh, I don't think that's what he said. And I would have listened to it maybe 40 or 50 times.
Even if I wanted him to say it. I wanted him to say it.
Clearly, they all want him to say it.
I would have, for something that big, I would have been like, Carrie, before I do this, before I hit the eject button on this thing, I want you to listen to it, man. Tell me, should we post it?
The guy that he said that to, if he had said what was reported that he said, he would have said, did you just really say that? That's what he would.
There would have been at least a confrontation of sorts.
Oh, I would have been like, anybody that's currently reading a Bible.
And you tell him there ain't no answers in there?
Maybe you keep your mouth shut if you know the guy's a diehard atheist.
But it's Marco Rubio running for president.
You would be like, you know what he would have said? He would have looked around at everybody and said, did any of you guys just hear that?
And the report was it was Ted Cruz's dad.
Yeah, Theodore Cruz? Yeah. Wait, what's his dad's name?
Mr. Cruz.
Oh, Mr. Cruz.
No, so my whole point is that Ted's got the direct line to his dad. Did he say that?
Oh, that's just, you know what, now that you put it that way, that's just, you know what, it's got to be this. It's got to be.
It's unconscionable.
No, here's what it is. He knew that that's not what he said, but he was swinging for the fences and hoping that the report. This is what Democrats do.
Yes.
Democrats are like the binders of women.
Democrats and lifelong campaigners of politics,
because they know that a lie will go all halfway around the world while the truth is still getting its pants on.
Right.
That's the quote, Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Or at least that's what was reported.
That's what they said, Mark Twain.
We're still waiting for the truth to get his pants on as to who said that.
Whoa.
So it's possible that that's still a lie. But anyway. No, but seriously, that's a phenomenon that is well known. And campaigners will use that to their advantage. And a lot of times in politics, as the lie is going halfway around the world, it could cause irreparable harm to a campaign before the truth finally comes out.
Right.
That was kind of like the binders of women thing. By the time because people are like, binders of women. When I think of binders, I'm thinking of a woman tied up.
Right. She's bound up. That Romney's got women bound and tied,
like with the orange ball in the mouth. And, all the above.
S&M.
The S&M going on.
And there ain't no 50 Shades of Gray. It's all gray.
Right. So, and I think that's the image that people got when they heard binders of women. Like, they put binders, women, binding, like, very subliminal, very dog whistly.
But they got sick minds anyways.
Right. So, all of a sudden you start to think, yeah, he's got... What he should have said was, I have binders full of women's resumes.
Yes.
But instead he said, I have binders full of women.
It's a slip.
It's so minor.
Right.
It's a very minor.
So check this out. Chris Wallace had Cruz on his show.
This morning?
I think, Sunday.
Okay.
And
does that deface the nation?
No, Chris Wallace?
Yeah. It's either
it's a deface. It might
slay the nation?
No. On Fox News.
Oh, yeah, that's Fox. That's neither.
No. So Ted Cruz got a little upset.
Okay.
He didn't like the line of questioning.
Uh-oh.
So this is what Chris Wallace had and talked to Cruz about.
Ben Carson was suspending his campaign. That was false. The campaign put out flyers accusing people of voting violations. That was false.
Ooh.
In South Carolina, a Cruz super PAC attacked Trump over the Confederate flag, and you're then communicating